Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to all. Okay, so today we're gonna start with the discussion for group 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, still on assignment 1. Okay, so let me get my okay, so group 5. Mana? Group, can you switch on your video? Group 5? So group 5, Sita, Lim Miao Ying, Ti Hong, Tan Zishan, and Mei Yen. Okay, so okay, after this, when the current group is supposed to present or discuss, so I would like your faces to be visible, okay, on the, I mean, you need to share your screen lah, video. Mana? Group 5? Sita, Lim, T, Tan, and Okay, so after this, group 6, 7, and 8 will do the same. Okay, so when you are on, I mean, it's your turn. So, of course, you can select 1 or 2 students from, I mean, or I can call anyone from either of your group members. So, okay, so so we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, so just like last Sunday. Okay, so I will go through few topics or few materials from your assignment and then discuss them. Okay, and then we follow with top group 7, group 6, 7, and 8. Okay, as usual. So So the last discussion we had on Sunday, okay, some of the comments that I raised, especially on the siapa ni, Darren Ong, one group member just dropped from the course. Okay, so just remain the same group lah. So meaning now you only have one less group member. Okay. So which group are you, Darren? Okay, so we start with the presentation or discussion. I mean, not really presentation lah. Okay, discussion on assignment 1 from group 5. Okay, so mana ni? Group 5. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen lah. Okay, so there are 5 of you. Okay, so overall, okay, so it's good that you have your table of contents. Okay, but it will be better if you can divide the page number according or the table of content based on part A and part B. Okay, so that we know which part, which pages. But I think the arrangement here is you combine, right, part A and part B into meaning when you do the notes for the example, then you proceed straight with the Q&A, okay, or question and solution. Okay, so for group 5, okay, so I'm trying to find different materials beside what we have done last Sunday because there's no point going through the same example again. Okay, so yesterday I did check some of the material and which one? So I think this one is quite straightforward. Okay. On the notes, okay, I have no problem because basically it's just, you know, basic mathematics on the graph. So you don't want to go too much into that. Okay. So this one, I think, yeah, we haven't discussed or we haven't had this question before. So siapa from the list? So who wants to go? Sita? Okay, can you explain this question here from what it is?
Okay, this is a demand function. So the question is how many films does he star in each year if his charges is 600K? So we just need to substitute P is equal to, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, yes.
So we just have to substitute P with 600K and then, okay, yes, after we done that, and then we can convert it to here, and we'll get the Q is equal to 2, which means he have to do 2 films if his charges is 600K. And then the second question is, if he wants to star in 4 films, which is 4 is the quantity, so we substitute 4 into Q and to get the P. That's it.
So this is just a simple substitution question, right?
Yes.
The demand function P. Okay, so I think this is a simple, straightforward question. Okay, so it's not really on the, is it got to do with the function and graph? I mean on graph, not right. So I think this one is more on the function. Okay, mine. Okay, so this one is plotting. So I believe this one is done manually as well using Microsoft Word or Excel.
This one, I don't know. Did it manually or Microsoft?
Okay. Okay, so mine. So this is. Okay, again, so okay, so how about this example? I think this example was already discussed before, right? This also simple PR minus TC example, okay, whereby you get the profit function and then substitute when Q equals to 10,000. Okay, so again, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, most of the syllabus, especially the first few topics, okay, topic 3, 4, and 5, maybe except the last two on the differentiation. Okay, most of them you already learned before, so there's nothing much. There's not really that complicated. Most of the examples are in the question, except in terms of the application for economics. Okay, but in terms of the calculation, the application of algebra, I mean, that's why this is a 1000 level paper. We don't expect, you know, a hard or the difficulty level is very much, I mean, at a very low level because this is a 1000 paper. So at the end of the day, why I ask you to do this exercise is just basically to understand the concept of profit, cost, revenue, okay, output maximization, cost minimization, and so forth. Okay, so it's not really um, that it's not really you need to think a lot in order to solve any of the question. Okay, so how about this one? Cost of producing PDA. So this is from Tan as well, right? So Tan, I think many of you are also using Tan in the first exercise. I mean, the first example. So I think this. Let me see. So I believe this was also done before. So I think that is one of the challenges. Okay, when we have this discussion, because most of you are when many of you are using Tan. So some of the examples was already discussed in the first round, okay, on Sunday. So that leaves us with choices based on other ebooks, okay, and for discussion. So I think this is also the same. You want the total cost function where the TC is variable cost,
Mm.
BC plus fixed cost. Okay, so I think this is uh, this is what you did here, right? Fixed cost, BC plus FC, and then the TR minus TC, you get the profit function. And then you substitute when X equals to 2000 or Q equals to 2000, and then you get the solution here. Okay. So it's pretty much straightforward, similar to the previous example. Okay. Let me see which one. Okay, so the slope is, so this is example. Mm, okay, can you explain on this example here? The six seater,
Oh,
which one is it here?
okay. This is um this is to find
Okay,
out this.
Masita, I mean, I would like to call another person. T Hong.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, can you speak a bit louder? It's a bit too slow on your side.
Oh, doctor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, this question, this example, is for us to find and interpret the slope of the following straight line. And on the question A, it gives us the cost function is like e equal to 55.73x plus uh 1x 1x. Yeah.
I mean, you can open your own laptop, right? You can, split the screen. Because at the end of the day, I'm only sharing my screen so that the rest of the student can see. But on your side, you can just open the same PDF file and go to the example that I'm showing right now on the screen. Because when we share screen, of course, you cannot really see that clear maybe on your side. Okay. But, so I think this is big enough, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what is the intention of this example here?
You want to say that the slope, if the slope is equal to 55.73, then the cost will increase by 55.73 if the production increased by 1 ton.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
How about the second one?
the second one is also almost the same. If the slope is negative 0.15, if the price increased by 1 Indian rupees per kilo, then the quantity, which is Q, demand will decrease by 0.15 kilos per unit.
Okay, so of course, in terms of the slope value, I think this is what you learn when you learn the linear function, right? Y equals to mx plus c. Okay, where m is the slope value. Okay, but when you apply in economics example, okay, something like this, okay, and especially this is when you want to interpret, for example, on the concept of elasticity of demand or elasticity of supply. Okay, of course, the elasticity of demand and supply, you don't use linear regression or linear equation like this. Okay, but the concept is, of course, the elasticity of demand or supply is based on percentage. Okay, 1% increase in price lead to how many changes in percent change in quantity demanded or quantity supplied. Okay, but in this case, it's not in terms of percentage because this is not a log function. I think when you learn mathematics, if the y and the x variable, or the y, in this case c and x, uh, not in log. I mean, for example, if you put log in front, log c, log x, then it must be in percentage. Okay, 1% increase in x will cause or will lead to how many increase in c, depending on the value of your coefficient here. Okay, but because this is not a log function, okay, of course, when you learn log later on, okay, in the I think it's in the next topic, right? Your second assignment, it will be on exponential and log. So if you find questions on log functions, okay, so log means that you interpret in terms of percentage, 1% increase. Okay, but because this is not in terms of log, so that's why you only interpret 1 unit increase or $1, okay, depending on what x is. So if x is based on, in this case, x is ton, okay, the number of steel in tons per year. So that's why you put one increase by 1 ton or one. Okay, and then C is the cost. The cost will increase by $55.73. Okay, so depending on what the unit measure for X and also for your Y lah, or in this case your cost. The same thing as the B example. Okay, still this is not in log function. Log meaning that the Q and the P is in absolute value, okay, or the original value. So when you interpret, you just use the simple or straightforward interpretation. 1 unit or if P is this in terms of price, so meaning $1 lah, or 1 Indian rupee lah. Okay, and it will lead to because the coefficient is negative, so you will see a decrease. In the previous one, because the coefficient is plus or positive, you see increase lah. So that is one thing that you need to pay attention when it comes to interpreting the coefficient sign, okay, or the slope of the equation that you are looking at. Okay, so increase and decrease, because increase, this is positive value, negative or decrease because this is negative. So in economics, okay, increase and decrease, it plays a lot. I mean, you need to be careful in terms of where, or I mean how you interpret this, okay, and especially when it comes to example like this. Okay, it seems it's a straightforward example, okay, but in terms of its application, okay, you will see this more in the future. I mean, in your, not only in this paper lah, okay, especially in later subjects, in maybe in your semester 3 or semester 4. Okay, so negative 115, $1, 1 Indian rupee, because P is the price in Indian rupee, so K is the quantity per person or per kilo. Okay, so I think okay, so just pay attention to the sign. That's why this is increase and this is decrease lah, because you have negative and positive. Okay. So I think I'll stop there for group number 5. Okay, so we got 3 other groups to go. Okay, because if we discuss too many, because you know, the thing is that when we discuss so many examples for one group, then the other group may not have any other different questions or example to discuss. So that is, but I just want to see that you are participating in the discussion, okay, and you are in front of your laptop, okay, and fully awake, okay, and not just switching on your laptop and you are doing something else. Okay, so that is one of the things that beyond my control, okay, but you need to take I mean the effort to actually to join the session actively. Okay, so thank you Sita and T. Okay, so I will take note on that. Okay, so okay, group 6, please switch on your video. So the group members Teo, Chung, Lim, Lam, Chen, okay, and Muhammad Haziq. Mana yang lain? Where are the rest? Only one person on visible now. Chung, where are your group members?
Doctor, they already opened the cam.
Okay, so group 7 and 8, so standby lah. Okay. Dengan bukan saya suruh, I don't ask you to open the video for the full 1 hour session or 1 hour 20 minute session. Just, you know, maximum 10-15 minutes, you know, and just to make sure that you are actively participating, you know, actively involved in the, although you might not be called or involved in the presentation, but at least, you know, you are aware what your group members are explaining. Okay, baru 2 orang, Haziq, Chung, mana yang lain? Okay, get in touch with your group members, you know, before you start the presentation, because you know the sequence of the presentation now. After 5, 6, and then group 7, and then group 8. Okay, so mana yang lain?
Doctor, all of us is here already.
I only see 2 of you, Chung and Haziq.
For myself.
Doctor, I already turned on my cam. I already turned on my cam.
Oh yeah, now I can see you. Lam, and then Lim mana? and also one more Tio. Ada ke? Lim.
Yeah, total I'm open yet.
Yeah, because I think that the problem when I start sharing my screen, I only see. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay. Let me share again. So, siapa nak? Who wants to volunteer?
So I will start first.
Chong
Hi.
Okay. Kejap. Let me share again. Okay, so Chong. Okay, so the perhaps in the next assignment, okay, you can avoid this kind of copy and paste punya style lah. Okay. It look less if you can afford to type it, better type it. Okay. Because I think certain equation or formula, I think it looks better, or it doesn't really take much of your time to type certain equation, which is very, unless it involve graph like this, then it's just easy to copy and paste. Okay. But for equation like this, I think put a bit of extra time to type it, or if you want to cut and paste, find other sources that when you put it in the notes, okay, looks more presentable. Okay. Because here it looks a bit like a last minute punya. I think my way of doing assignment with Dr. Nozita, I think is easy enough in terms of copy and paste. Most of the stuff you only copy and paste except for the solution and the question and answer section. Okay, but if you find that if you want to copy and paste from the book and it doesn't look nice on your Word file, or you convert into PDF, okay, as I mentioned, you can also edit to change the contrast, the sharpness of the image and whatnot lah. Okay, so the TAN textbook, I think we have discussed a lot before. So again, I think many of you are doing the same format, meaning you start with the example and then followed by the question. Okay, for the next assignment, please split them into section. In section A, you discuss the example first. Okay. And then section B, we go straight to the question and solution. So at least if I want to find the question, I can just go straight to that particular section rather than having to go through, topic by topic. Okay, I think this one again is quite simple. I'm not really into this kind of pure mathematics punya soalan. Okay, let me see. So this is algebra. Okay, so these are the kind of things that I think you need to improve when you copy and paste. Okay, it looks a bit too small, so you can improve on I think when I share the screen on other groups assignment, okay, which one is positive, you take mana yang cantik, or which one looks better in terms of the presentation, you can take that as improvement for your future assignments. Okay, so so I think we discussed this one also on the TAN. So again, okay, on I mentioned this before. Okay, please use many other books that I provided beside the TAN textbook. Okay, so that we have variety of examples to discuss during our discussion. Yeah. Okay, macam ni pun it's a bit difficult for me to read, because I think when you copy and paste, it looks tak berapa terang kat sini. Okay. So let me see, this is also an example. Okay. So again, I think we have done this example on TAN, you substitute from to the function. Okay. Yeah, I think we done this before. You substitute, okay, into the. So I think what I want to do now is more on the quadratic function. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so let's discuss this one first. I think we haven't had this question before. From Rosa 89. Okay. So what this so what do you get from, or what is your take, or what is your purpose of choosing this assignment and this question then? Chu?
Okay, let me have a look first. So this question is asking about the expenditure if they manufacture 175 units.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So before we start, we need to find the slope first. So we take that y2 minus y1, and then divide by x2 minus x1. So we can see
So
that
you need to speak a bit, cakap apa tu, kuat sikit kan.
got skip. Okay. Okay. So we take 3,200 minus by 4,820 and divide by 85 minus 130. So we get 36. 36 is the slope.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can find an equation following by using the point form. So it's y minus 3,000 equal 36 times x minus 85. So and then we keep doing that, and then when you get the equation is y equal 36x plus 140. So we calculate the production of cost when the input is 171 unit, and then we will substitute the units into the question, into the x. So it's 36 times 175 plus 140, and then we will get the total of cost is 6,140.
Okay. So what you done here is basically first, I mean, just establishing the linear function, right? You are given
Yes.
2 points, two x point and two y points. Then and then first you construct, you get the slope value, and then using this I also forgotten about this formula, because there are many ways that you can establish or you can construct your linear function. So this is one of the ways that you can do it. Okay, so you plug in, if you choose x, the first value, or the x1 y1, and then you expand them, and you can get your y function, I mean your linear function, ky mx plus c lah. Okay, and then you substitute the x given from the question, and you get the y to be 6440. Okay, so again, this is fairly straightforward, pure mathematics, I mean basic maths solution, okay, to construct a linear function. Okay, when you are given two coordinates or 2 points like two x and two y points. Okay, but of course the example is you use the output and cost. Okay, so for those who have forgotten how to construct slope, okay, and then calculate or establish your linear functions, okay, when you are given the when you already got the slope value, and then so this is what I mean. There are many ways to do it. I mean, several ways. Okay, so I think this is one of the easiest one that you can apply. Okay, okay. So this is from Rosa, from Rosa, right? Okay, Tan. So I think Tan, we had this example before, the break even. Okay, TR equals to TC. Okay. Okay, so I think we haven't had this example before. So Haziq, okay, thank you, Chung. So can you explain this example? Yes, better. Okay, Haziq.
Wait, doctor.
So break-even analysis. Okay. So first, what do you understand by break-even? Okay. So that is the first part that you need to understand when you choose this example. Aziz, cepat. Buat apa tu?
Wait, doctor. I'm trying to refresh. I'm trying to refresh this question.
Refresh, nak refresh apa? Bukan bayar pun, baca je. Dah lupa dah. Okey, saya simpan kamu nanti untuk soalan lain. Lam, Jian Ting. Saya nakkan cepat, saya tak nak tunggu lama-lama.
Okay. Can you hear me, doctor?
Ya, okey ya.
Okay, so break even is when TR equals to TC. So given the RX, the TR function is 8x and TC function is 3x plus 25,000. So we have to equalize them, make it equation, and we find the equilibrium x of 5,000. And then we substitute the x value into either Rx function or the Cx function, and we get the break-even point of 40,000. So from that, we can conclude that at the production level of 5,000, we can get a result of break-even revenue of 40,000.
Okay, so TR equals to TC.
TC, yeah.
So basically, this is a simultaneous equation. So you put side by side, okay, TR of equals to TC, you get X. So it's a simple, straightforward solution. I don't even think if you don't include the revenue and cost, just looking at this function alone, okay. I think you learn this maybe in your form 2. Yeah, I think tingkatan 1 or tingkatan 2, you already learned this one, right? Form 1 or form 2? Simultaneous equation. I mean, if you try to recall, when did you first learn simultaneous equation? Was it in form 1, form 2 or form 3? In your PT3 or form 2? I mean, if you don't include the TR-TC thing, but if you want to solve a simultaneous equation like this, okay? So when did you first learn this formula? Lam, boleh ingat?
Probably form 2. I don't remember.
Okay, I think it should be at least latest by form 2. I think you already learned this linear algebra. Okay, so I mean the only thing different is that you include the concept of cost and revenue lah.
Yes.
In terms of the solution itself, simultaneous linear equation like this, okay, it's not something that you haven't, I mean, you learned this maybe perhaps like 7-6 years ago, okay. So of course, that's why I when you look into this concept of revenue and cost, which is very common in economics, so the main concept is the break even. Okay, so if you don't understand what is break even, then meaning you cannot solve this problem. Okay, because break even means TR equals to TC. So you are given two functions. Okay, of course you need to construct the function based on the sentence here. Okay, and then you have the revenue of 8. Okay, and then the variable cost 3 and fixed cost 25,000. So so that's why you put 3x here and then plus so this is BC plus FC here. Okay, variable cost plus fixed cost equals to the revenue. Okay, but in terms of solving this problem, shouldn't be much of a challenge to you. I mean, to most of you, right? Okay, except trying to construct this equation from the from the sentence here. Okay, so as long as you understand why you put 3x, okay, and why you have this 25,000, because this is variable cost, this is fixed cost. So variable cost, you need to have the x value, because variable cost changes when the quantity changes. Okay, the same thing with revenue. Revenue also changes when you change the quantity. Okay, but again, I would prefer the x be replaced by q, okay, not use x. So in the future example or exercises, okay, in the next assignments, okay, whenever you use quantity as your solution, so don't use x. Okay, it's not like it's wrong, but it reflects the application of economics better when you use q instead of x. Okay, so because you're going to use q again in your principle of economics, micro, macro, you're not going to use x. So better to get used to the symbol q, okay, in your solutions lah. Okay, how about B? So the question for B is what should be the level of sales in order for the division to realize 50% profit over the cost of making berries? So how do you tackle the 50% issue?
I answer it.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this question, the one, what is the value of units you can produce at when you want to obtain 15% of profit over the cost? So first you have to find that what is the 15%. And so to get the profit function, you must minus Rx with Cx, as in revenue minus cost. And so with this 15%, you do a cross multiplication and you find the answer. After you cross multiplication, you find the answer.
So why do you divide by this term here?
Because they want it to be the profit over cost. That's why we do this, and we use the cross multiplication to do the equation to find the x. As in 15. As in 15 times with the 3x plus 25,000, and then the 100 times with the other one. But in this case, she just move up the answer from 3x plus 25,000 to 0.15 and equals to the answer after minus with 8x minus 3x plus 25,000, which is 8x minus 25,000. And so after you get the equation, nicely, you get 4.55x equals to 28750. And after you divide by the 4.55, you get the x equals to 6318.68. Since this x is a unit, it cannot be some value that we cannot identify. So we need to equalize it, and then we what's that word? Make the x to be a number that we can see. So it becomes 6319 unit. And thus, for the firm to produce at least 6319 units, the firm need to produce at least this amount of units, 6319, to realize the 15% profit over the cost.
Okay, so basically this is, I mean, to make things simple, this is you run up to the nearest integer lah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot the word. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I think the one that can I'm sure many students will not understand this concept, why you divide by. So basically, if you don't look into this profit over cost, okay, or so basically what the whole idea of this example is basically okay, you want so basically you want to get the percentage change, okay, when R minus C, okay, or TR minus TC, the value must be equal to 15%. Okay, so meaning you are trying to look at the percentage change between the two values. So R minus C, the value must be 15%. So basically this is So what you are doing here is basically calculating the percentage changes. So percentage change is usually how do you calculate? I mean in the layman or bahasa mudah or the common term, new minus old divided by old lah. Then multiply by 100, then you get 15%, and then you get the percentage change. Okay, how many changes lah. Okay, so this is the common formula. Okay, new minus old divided by old. Okay, the new value minus the old value divided by the old value multiply by 100, then you get the percentage value. Okay, so just like if you want to calculate economic growth, or let's say you want to see if someone tells you the economy has grown by 10% from last year. So what do you mean by the economy has grown by 10%? Last year or now, for example, during COVID-19, the economy has decreased, or the economic growth has decreased by 10% from last year because of the slowdown in the economy. So our economic growth now is negative 10%. So how do you calculate that 10%? So meaning the current value of GDP minus the previous value of GDP divided by the previous value of GDP, you multiply by 100, right? Or new minus old divided by old lah. New meaning that let's say today is now is 2020, okay, minus 2019 and divide by 2019 lah. Okay, value. Okay, meaning the current value minus the previous value divided by the previous value multiplied by 100, then you get the percentage change. So basically what you are doing here is basically following the formula lah. Okay, because you want to calculate the percentage change. Okay, and you know that the profit is calculated by R minus C lah. And you want that this value to be translated into percentage. So that's what you are doing here. R minus C over C is basically like new minus old over old lah. Okay, so that is in terms of using the pure mathematics understanding of calculating percentage change. Okay, so because if you put it this way, I mean, of course, I'm not saying this is wrong, but I mean in terms of making it, some of you who may not understand why you are dividing by cost. Okay, because it's not profit over cost. I mean, it's, of course, when you highlight this thing profit over cost, but basically you are calculating the percentage change. Okay, peratus perubahan. Okay, and peratus perubahan is basically new minus old divided by old lah. Okay, so I'm not saying R is the new, C is the old value, but because you are taking the difference between the two, so the only way to see this is that to convert to see this as a percentage value, so R minus C over C lah, or new minus old divided by old lah. Okay, then you can get this value. So whether you want to cross multiply or you convert this one straight to 0.15, and then you solve for it, and then you run out to the nearest integer, you get 6319. Okay, but the principal idea is basically calculating percentage, peratus perubahan or percentage change. Okay, X, how many percent change. Okay, so in economics, okay, one of the most common percentage change is economic growth. The word growth is basically measuring changes in the current value minus by the last year value lah. Okay, or inflation growth, inflation rate. So inflation measures the price level changes. Okay? The this year price minus last year's price. Okay, so how do you calculate the growth? New minus old divided by old, multiplied by 100. Okay, so the concept of profit here, because you are given the in terms of percentage value, so that's why you put R over C, R minus C over C. So basically this is the growth formula. Okay, but we apply them in economics example. Okay, so this is okay, a good example from a question from mana pun, from Tan. Okay, so so it's 9:30 already. So I think it's so Lam and Chung. Okay, Haziq, you standby lah nanti lah next round. Okay, okay, group 6, 7. Okay, group 7. Lam and Chung kan.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay, Doctor.
Okay. Group 7. Okay. Group 7. Siapa group 7? Sun, Shinji, Muhammad, Nur Baki, Nik Azhar, Ling, Min Hua, and Abdul Rahim. Okay, if we don't have time to do group 8, we're gonna continue next Sunday lah, group 8. Okay, because it's already 9:30. So depending on the discussion, some discussion we take shorter, some discussion takes longer. So okay, mana dia? Nik Azhar, satu, Lilin, baru nampak orang. Mana lagi seorang?
Sorry, Doctor. Our group member.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Muhammad, Nur, Sun, Sini, Nik Azhar, Lilin, and Abdul Rahim. Okay, so who wants to volunteer?
Doctor, I will start first.
Link
Yes.
Okay, link, kejap, let me share my screen. Okay, so here you have, okay, good, we have the table of contents. So again, you all combine lah, okay, question and solution. Okay, so the next assignment asing lah, okay. So question 1 section, solution 1 section. Okay. So yeah, I think sama jugalah komen saya, jangan bagi too small. Okay, when you copy and paste this kind, okay, because you can see there's a lot of empty spaces here. Okay, and bila kamu nak copy, even this one, I think I already, kalau besarkan pun, I think still nampak kecil juga lah. Okay. So of course your skill to do the notes, okay, will improve over time. So mana yang saya komen tu, okay, you improve lah for the next assignment. Okay, ni A hilang, T-K-E-N, so ada K kat sini. Okay, so the notes, okay, again, I'm not really into the notes because I'm more into the question and solutions, especially the one that you do on your own. Trying to find something that other groups have not done before. So again, banyak from Tan juga lah. Okay, so kurangkan Tan, maknanya balance lah. Okay, there are elements from other books as well. So this one, I think actually this example is more suited for the exponential punya function. Okay, it's not for the function for linear, I mean for topic, because you are using exponential here. Okay, kuasa 1, kuasa 3 or whatever lah. So this is exponent. So this is more suited for the next. Of course, this is under topic number 2, also from Tan. Okay, but it is more suited for the next topic. Okay. So functions, again from Tan, I think we discussed this example before. Okay, express as a composite. Okay. So the PDA also from, I think from Tan juga. Okay, we already discussed that one. This one also from Tan. Okay, so banyak daripada Tan kan. Okay, ni pun Tan juga. Ni pun Tan juga. Kenapa banyak sangat daripada Tan? Tak pakai buku-buku lain. Okay, tak ada, I mean, meaning that you are not going, bila maknanya kamu, you all kurang pakai lah ataupun kurang membuat kajian, go through the other books. Okay, so please use other books, okay, beside the Tan textbook lah. Okay. So text, okay, here. Okay, so I think we haven't discussed this one. Okay, siapa tadi nak buat link
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so can you explain this?
Okay, so in this question, the question is asked us to find the value of Q when the firm break even. So to find break even, so that the means TR equal to TC. So first of all, we need to find the TC, which is total cost. So that we need to find the FC fixed cost is given by 4, and the VC is variable cost. So we need to times the number of units. So that's VC times Q. And the TR is equal to P times Q, means price times the quantity of the units product. So that we take 10 minus 2Q times Q equal to 10Q minus 2Q squared. So the profit is TR minus TC, so it's 10Q minus 2Q squared minus 4 plus Q.
Okay, so basically it's the same concept, TR equals to TC. Okay, so you construct your total cost, fixed cost plus variable cost. So 4 plus Q from here, right? So
yes.
Okay, and then you get your TC function. So this one, this, if you recall, as what I think we discussed in the TAN example a couple of weeks ago, what I call as what the inverse demand function. Okay, inverse means P as a function of Q. Okay, so because I think when you learn principle of economics, you normally see when you talk about demand function, QD equals to how many Q lah. Okay, so that is what you normally see. And when you want to calculate the equilibrium quantity, you put QD equals to QS. Okay, and then you solve for the function lah. Okay, so when you put QD as a function of Q, this is the normal demand function. But when you convert Q or you put P on the left, meaning P as a function of quantity, okay, we discussed this before. So this is what we call the inverse demand function. And you need the inverse demand function in order for you to calculate your total revenue. So if you forgot this concept, okay, go and check again the lecture on that particular, when we discussed the TAN example. So I think I already discussed this. Why do you, I mean, of course, in this case, you already given the function, you already given the function as inverse. So no need to convert, okay? But if you were given the function as QD as a function of Q, as a function of P, okay, so not Q, as a function of price, so you need to convert to this format here. Okay, once you convert into inverse, then you can calculate your PR lah, which is P times Q lah, okay, price times quantity. What you see here, P times Q, okay? So this is your price function multiplied by quantity lah, and then you expand, you get NQ over 2Q squared. Okay, ini senang, this part is easy, but the difficult part is trying to understand why P times Q. So this is the part I think many students will fail to understand, okay, especially when you learn in the macroeconomics topic in your principle of economics, or in your maybe next semester when you take micro. Okay, the concept of TR and TC. So you're going to see these functions again. Okay, but since we already introduced this concept of inverse demand function to calculate the total revenue. Okay, P equals to 10 minus 10Q. So this is the P, and then you multiply by Q lah. Okay, P times Q, dapatlah total revenue. Okay, P times Q. Okay, so some of you who are not maybe not strong in mathematics, or I think in terms of the algebra, this is very simple. Once you put P times Q, kamu cuma kembangkan sajalah, expand the function. But this is not the difficult part. The difficult part is trying to understand, or first, why you need to have an inverse demand function. Okay, because to calculate TR, it must be P times Q. not Q times P. Okay, of course in maths, XY is the same as YX. Okay, but in economics, there's some exception or pengecualian. When you want to calculate total revenue, it must be P times Q. Okay, not Q times P. Okay, so P not Q times P. So this is wrong. You want P times Q. Okay, so again, okay, I want to remind you why this is very important. Okay, because you will see this concept applied, okay, in multiple occasions in your study, especially this semester and maybe next semester. Okay, so once you get your TR again, okay, and then you put the profit function TR minus TC, and then you solve for them. Okay, again, careful on the minus sign here, because this is 4 plus Q. So when you expand, the negative and positive become negative lah. Okay, it might look simple here because you already see the solution. But if you were to do this on your own, I'm sure many will do this silly mistake, not converting the plus into minus. Okay, so these are some of the small things that many of you will take for granted or forgot. Okay, the basic rule in in subtraction. Okay, when you involve two equations, okay, with brackets, okay, the negative and positive becomes negative lah. So I don't want to teach you basic maths, okay, but this is just one of the things that students normally commit mistakes, okay, during whether assignments or in exams. Okay, so please take note on this simple rule, yeah. So I think you already discussed, so I think this part is basically trying to find the TR functions, sorry, the profit functions, correct? Okay.
Yes.
And then, okay, B, can you go with the B? What is the maximum profit?
Yes. Okay, to find the maximum profit, we need to sketch a graph first.
Okay, let's say we don't look at the graph. Okay, just using the mathematics to solve for the maximum profit. Okay, so now you got your functions, your profit functions, right? From this solution here, minus 2Q plus 9Q minus 4. This is your profit function. Okay, the one that you did here. I mean, of course, this is not your solution. This is example, okay? Okay. So how do you proceed from this function to find the maximum profit quantity?
First, we can find for the to find the x-intercept by using the formula minus b plus minus b square minus 2ac over 2a to find the x-intercept, which is q 0.5 and q equal to 4.
Okay.
And after that, we can find for the maximum profit, which is by for the halfway of the graph, if got the graph, so that we times the 0.5 plus 4 with divide by the half, so we get 2.25.
I think you can avoid this complication by just using negative b over 2a, kan? Correct? Soon? Betul lah? I mean, when you, of course, I mean, I'm not saying this example is wrong, but the example is doing a long way rather than you can, I think last Sunday we had something, a similar question, not the same question, but a similar example to find the maximum quantity or the maximum profit. So in quadratic, you can find the vertex by using negative b over 2a. Okay. Then here you can get what is the x value, which is this one. Okay, negative B over 2A, then you do not need to use the factorization. Because here, once you get the 2x value, you need to take the average. This is what the example is doing. Because by symmetry, when you take the average, the value is in between these two intersection. So you get 2.25. But if you use negative B over 2A, you should get 2.25 as well. Cuba kira dapat tak 2.25? Negative B over 2A. Can you get 2.25 using negative B over 2A formula? Nah, cuba kira je sekarang. Ni Azhar, cuba kira.
Yes, Dokter.
Yes, Doctor.
Dapat kan? I mean, it should be the same lah. Okay. So factorization, I'm not saying, so this is, of course, if you're in, the reason why they do this because they want to plot the graph. Okay. Because the question asks you to plot the, tak minta graph kan? Ada ke? Oh yeah, sketch a graph. Okay. So that's why it requires the factorization here. Negative B plus minus B squared over 2A itulah. Okay. Because you need the intersection point of the graph. Okay. But if you're not required to calculate, to obtain the graph, I mean, just by trying to find the maximum or the minimum point, here is the vertex will be the maximum lah, because your function is negative. Okay. When you have a negative function, so the graph will be the inverse U-shape lah. Okay, so the maximum point can be obtained by negative B over 2A. Okay, so you don't know what is B, what is A. So the A is the first, the one with the kuasa 2 lah. So negative 2. So this is A, this is B, this is C lah. Okay. So do you get 2.25? Dapat kan? Dapat tak tadi? Link dapat 2.25?
Dapat. Yes, Doctor.
Okay, so you get 2.25 by using this, simple approach. Okay, so of course, this is one of the way that you can do also. Once you get the intersection value, the two value of x, one is both are positive. So when you add them both, you divide by 2, you still get the middle point here. Okay, but you can shorten the way by using negative b over 2a and then plug in the value here into your profit function. Then you get 6.125. Okay, so there are different ways for you to solve depending on what the condition of the situation here. Okay, so I think in the later chapter, in the differentiation topic, chapter 6 and 7, okay, you will also see this concept applied again on the maximum profit, minimum cost. But you're going to solve the problem not using factorization, but using differentiation. So again, that will be another approach for you to solve the same problem. I think you already learned, if you learn differentiation or pembezaan before in your previous, in secondary school, so you can, you should be able to understand the concept of maximum and minimum also. Okay, you do first differentiation and then you differentiate for the second time. So that one will be reserved later lah, okay, in your final, in your in the later topic of the semester. Okay, so this is a common quadratic question. Okay, but the way for you to solve, so this book shows one of the ways, get a bit longer, but because the reason why they do this factorization is not wrong, but because they want to plot the graph. Okay, so once you plot the graph, and you can also use the same value that they find here, but take the value, meaning take the average 0.5 plus 1 plus 4 divide by 2, because the value is symmetric. Symmetric meaning you can cut into half. Okay, so that's what it means by symmetry. Symmetry means you can cut the graph into half. So this part will be the same as this part lah, in terms of the area under the curve. So that is what symmetry is lah. Okay. So I think okay, group 8 will continue next okay, next Sunday. Okay. So for those, so for group 8, again, Okay, so next week will be group 8, 9, 10, and perhaps 11 if we have the time. Okay, if not, then the remaining groups will continue and on the following week. Okay, and not to forget, your second assignment is also due next, not this Friday, but next week Friday. Okay, before, I think the Deepavali fall on Friday, right? Or sorry, fall on Saturday, right? So no holiday for you, and no holiday for me also. Okay, because Deepavali fall on Saturday, so there's no additional holiday on Sunday. Okay, so group 8 will continue next next Sunday. Okay, and also group 9 and also the other groups standby lah. If we cannot finish all of the groups by next Sunday, so we're going to continue by next Wednesday also. Okay, so just to remind, okay, if you're preparing for your second assignment, okay, please split them into the two sections section A and section B. Okay, section A, the notes and example, and then section B are the question and solutions. Okay, so and then and also of course please use as many materials from the ebooks, okay, beside buku hutan okay. So thank you, and as usual I will upload the video on your YouTube link, okay. And okay, so for group 4, if that one of your group member has dropped, okay, from the course, okay, so meaning you stick with the 4 group members okay, for assignment 2, okay. So and if you prefer to remain in the same group for the rest of the assignment 3 and assignment 3 and assignment 4, then I will stick to the same group members okay. So okay, thank you. So I'll see you next week Sunday, okay, inshallah. Okay, assalamualaikum and okay, and